Hey guys, in this video I'm going to look at creating space and how that helps you win a point fight. So in order to control space you have to commit resources to it. Now that might be shields, it might be ultimates, or it might just be pure numbers of people. Within that, kills are the ultimate space creator because it sends the enemy all the way back to their spawn, and that's why retreating is always better than death if those are your only two options. That also means you can't control space that you aren't in. So necessarily if you take space in one area, you have to give up space that you did control somewhere else. Now, if we look at Ice Mines specifically, Ice Mines has 3 lanes to it, mirrored on each side, which are all quite closely interrelated, unlike some maps. So there's the balcony over the top, the main lane, and the barn. So in the case of Ice Mines, in order to control that mid lane, you have to control your opponent's balcony first, because if you don't control that balcony, it's too easy for them to put shots on you, and so you can't safely get on point for any length of time without getting killed. So for this video, we're going to look at 4 point fights from the same game and see how in each one people attempt to take space with varying levels of success, where they commit too much resource, where they commit not enough resource, and how that shapes the point fight. Now for our team, which is marked out in blue for this game, each time we try to line up in the same way. So Torvald and Tyra are up on the balcony trying to control that side, while Barrick, Grover and Tiberius line up in the barn to try and control that side, allowing all of them an angle onto the central lane without having to occupy it directly. So in this first fight, you'll see what happens when that team gets too spread out, and as a result, the enemy are able to capitalize on that. And then Realm overextends, which allows the blue team to come back and kill their enemies sequentially rather than having to face them all at once, effectively overwhelming them in sequence. So first of all, from the barn, you can see that the Barrick tries to push up onto the enemy balcony, but because he's against a dredge, it's a fairly even fight, even though he's got both shield and turret available to help push the area. And so as a result, he ends up losing just because of the dredge's mechanics. Now, if he had Fortify to give his shield a bit more strength, he might have been able to win that fight. On the other side, the Tyra tries to push through and meets minimal resistance initially, so that gives her an opportunity to get a kill on the Victor that's about to drop down. But then she's overexposed when she then attacks the Androxus, and so he's able to get a trade in return. That then leaves in the barn the Tiberius and the Grover. So they're facing against a Realm, and we all know how difficult that can be. And you can see they get it very low, but then Tiberius's combat chance runs out, and he leaves trying to run too late and goes down. That then leaves the Realm to push on the Grover, who attempts to get away, goes to join his teammate, which is a sensible place to fall back to, but also gets killed as both players attempt to retreat. So now the Torvald is quite overwhelmed and is trying to get out. He should be stopping firing at this point, maybe he wouldn't have got stuck in the wall. But what this does is leads the Realm into the regrouping blue team, and so now he's quite heavily outnumbered in this space, and by the time his team tries to turn up, it's too late and he's unable to retreat. So Barrick tries now to retake the main lane, but it's too heavily controlled by the enemy team, and so he quite quickly gets overwhelmed and killed. But what this does do is allow the rest of the team to arrive in the centre and isolate the IO. So now the blue team feels more organised and is able to take space effectively, pushing the IO back. And although the Tiberius briefly gets distracted, he does confirm this kill. That leaves the Realm with nowhere safe to retreat to, and so as he tries to fall back, he goes down. That means with the blue team now ensconced in the centre and the red team mostly back in spawn or dead, They're unable to get back on point successfully, and so the blue team caps. In this second fight, you'll see there's a mismatch in where teams allocate their resources. So we'll start by looking at the balcony side for blue team. So on this side, Andro and Victor both commit with fire support from the Dredge and are able to overpower that team, getting kills on both. But because they've committed so heavily to that side, the rest of blue team is able to come through the barn and get kills on the Io and the Realm in quite quick succession. The Dredge then commits suicide, so now blue team have advantage and are able to push the space, but Andro uses an ult to even up the numbers, getting a kill on Grover, and then he's able to beat the Tiberius head to head, not helped by Tiberius throwing his sword at a wall. What that then does means the Victor is not actually controlling the space he's in, because he's focused on ulting on mid, and so Barrick's able to get a kill on him and then push up onto the still damaged Victor. Now Victor retreats the wrong way into space already controlled by blue team, and so instead of getting safe, he meets with a Tyra, and between them they get that kill. So this is almost a reset at this point, but it very quickly becomes uneven again as Torvald uses his ultimate to send Round all the way home via a canyon, and then Barrick will push up and use his ultimate to force the rest of the team back. You can just see it through the wall, and that then allows Barrick and Tiberius to push up on this team and force them out of that central space. And so now blue team are able to cap successfully because the enemy team is sufficiently weakened that they can't compete. As they start to return, as well as dying, the Tiberius draws them back. So at this point he knows he's going to die, but by bringing 3 of the enemy on him, he prevents them contesting the point where they should be. So in this third fight, the red team attacks piecemeal. So once again, they leave that left side open, and so the blue team attacking from the barn have success. But when the Andro attacks the balcony once again, he loses the duel against Tyra this time, possibly because she's expecting it, and so instead of her attention being focused on keeping the enemy off of the main lane, she's more able to compete on the balcony. And so with that side then opened up, she's able to compete with the Victor and also get him down. That then means this side is clear and firmly under control of blue team. So if we jump back to the other side and what happens in the barn, without those people and with the Realm sitting back and not putting on any pressure, the team on this side are able to push on the Dredge and the Io and quickly get both of those killed. So that then just leaves the Realm in the centre, so the whole team is able to jump on them because he becomes isolated. So now the enemy team is all far away pretty much, and so the Tiberius is able to push up and contest the space in front of the point. And so as the rest of the team starts arriving, the Tiberius contest this space, meaning the enemy resources go into that and don't stop the team capping in the middle. So on to the final point fight. And I know what you're thinking, they've capped 3 times, surely this is going to be easy. Well, here comes the upsetting twist. So in this one, the Barrick comes onto the right hand side for the first time and begins battling with the Androxus. He gets the best of that engagement, and when the Androxus starts to retreat, he pursues, but Dredge closes the space behind him, leaving him no escape. That does open the space for the Tyra though, who can come in and clean up both of these, and that means there's no safe space left for the red team because they've lost their balcony, and so she also cleans up the Tyra. And then the Victor is chased into the rest of the blue team and killed, and not long after that the Realm goes down. And so blue team is now in complete control of this centre space, and so are able to push back the enemy. So here Barik pushes on Androxus, forcing him back, but then with help from his team, as well as using his ult, he's able to kill the Barik, who might have survived a bit longer if he hadn't pushed so far. But with him down, the Androxus is able to dash onto point and prevent the cap, and then Realm comes in with the ultimate that gives red team the advantage in this space in numbers and resources. So Io and Torvald's ults clear out the point, but not enough, and the Torvald is now alone, but instead of retreating gets himself killed. And so red team are completely dominant in this area, and blue team need a big resource swing in order to contest, which they're unable to get, and as a result the game is lost. So that's some examples of how space works. So when you're moving around the map, think to yourself, what space am I trying to take? Do I have the resources to do it? And what space am I giving up? As well as where can I retreat to if it turns out I've miscalculated and it all goes wrong. Otherwise you end up sent back to spawn and give up any claims to space that you might have had. Thanks guys, catch you next time.